Welcome back to another how-to video. Today we're going to show you how to do a walkthrough and do a scope. SOW is the abbreviation for it. First thing we did was we secured the house, and then we came back in and we had a crew trash out the house. What we did was we hauled 30, or not 30, but this is a 30-yard dumpster. We hauled 8 of them out of here, so that'll kind of give you how much. It was a hoarder house again, and no electricity, no power, no water for probably 2 years.
At least 2 years.
At least 2 years. So right now what we'll do is we'll walk through the house and kind of do a scope of work and kind of give you guys a basic of what we're looking for in cost and hours and everything. Cost wise, as every region has a different cost of materials and all that, but we can at least give you a highlighted version of what it is in this area. So we're starting, first thing you want to look at is the door. You can tell that the door is no good. It's been dented and everything else. Basically, we charge $450 per door. There's a front door and a back door. So that's starting your total. We have a spreadsheet that we use. If you attend our classes, you would be able to get these spreadsheets, and what it does is it'll run you through cost and it gives you an idea of materials and everything else, and you can use it as a starting point, and then you can add to it and modify it to suit what you guys do. We'll walk into here. First thing you'll start seeing, I mean, if we had scratch and sniff on your video, you'd be able to see the damage with all the cobwebs and the smoke. They had a fireplace in here, and that's how they were heating the house for a couple years since they didn't have electricity. So we have a ton of smoke damage from the fireplace. Hardwood floors, we'll go through and give a square footage, and we will determine where we'll put carpet. Since this hard floor is basically really rough, we'll just put carpet over it. This is one that we won't refinish because it's too expensive for us to redo it. We're looking at the painting. Right now you can do a two-tone paint if you do a trim and walls, but you have to look at the cost of if it's worth it. You'll have to look at the comps in your area, how much you bought it for, and weigh out the comps and what you can sell it for. So two-tone paint is almost double the cost of a normal painting. So things to look at, but this does have a lot of nice old wood and stuff, so more likely they'll go ahead and two-tone paint this one. So we'll walk through. We'll start off, since we're in the front, we'll go through. We're looking at windows. So you'll look at the windows. These windows, make sure they work. If they don't work, basically in our area they're about $22 a square foot, so that can tell you roughly how much each window will cost. So we'll measure the windows out. These windows are these back ones are original. The front, and the front ones have been vinyl, so they're replaced. So you can see the old wavy glass. We'll leave those the way they are. So right now, we're basically just looking around for paint, sheetrock damage throughout. So you'll see holes. So between me and Carl, we like going with 2 people because my eyes don't always see the same thing as what his eyes do. So it's just, if you have one person, it is what it is, but we like using 2 because you get a better feel with 2 people looking through the house. Because I mean, I'm already seeing holes behind you where there's patching in the sheetrock throughout that missing tape through here where it's going to have to be retaped and mudded. Fireplace holes. So it's just, you're just basically going to walk through. Is this room here, you can see that this is a plaster and lath house. So it's an older, it's in the 1900s. So you can see the damage that's done to all those. We'll use a hot mud, it's called a hot mud, that we'll put back and patch those. So you're looking at probably an hour to patch the walls. Looking at electrical, looking at the fireplace. This isn't a a normal old fireplace. This has an insert in it that's running up through the roof, so, but we'll reevaluate to see if we can go ahead and get this up and running. But that's one thing, is electricity, and once we get more in depth and go through the house, you'll start seeing that the issues that we have with electricity that we're gonna have to fix first. Okay, now we're in the living room. You can see the fireplace. This is, like I say, the insert that we were looking on the other side. So you can tell that the hearth and everything is all bad all the way around. So we're gonna have to redo the hearth. So we're gonna have a few hours retiling. Kind of walking into the dining room, you can kind of see where there's holes throughout, where they have dings. So the biggest thing in here is you can see all the smoke of them burning the fireplace. We'll go ahead and walk into the kitchen. Kitchen cabinets and everything look fairly well. They're all here, so everything is here. So we'll be able to use the kitchen cabinets if they decide. A lot of times we'll go ahead and sand them down and paint them, or we'll leave them original color. This one here we'll probably leave original color since it'll match all the trim work and everything else that's throughout. We'll go ahead and put a new sink. I mean, you can look in here, the sink and all that isn't worth cleaning up, and the countertop is pretty trash. So we'll go ahead and what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and build a new countertop for this. So those roughly run about $300 to $500 for us to build them.
You can watch that on our cabinetry video, right?
That's right. I mean, we've showed you how to install cabinets and countertops. So that's one of our videos. We've showed you how to do the windows in another video. So all the videos, if you watch, we kind of run through. In here, I mean, they had a dishwasher behind you, so we'll go ahead and put all new stainless steel appliances in here. That'll be over there. You'll have your washer your stove and fridge there. You can see on this back door, as we were saying, is no good. They broke all the windows out. So we'll just go ahead and put a new door in. We come back in. This is a little laundry room that's had it. Looks like this is where the dryer was, and then the washing machine, and we'll just clean up this room and paint it. We'll walk through the whole house, and then we'll kind of break down the spreadsheet of what we have on hours, so that way you guys can kind of see the hours. We'll go ahead and go upstairs first. If you look up above here, you can see there was an issue with a bubble. So that bubble is going to tell you that someone had a water leak here at one time. So now we did find out where it was coming from. So we'll go upstairs and you'll be able to see that, because that's something that if it's from the roof or what, you're going to have to pinpoint it out, because you ain't going to want to paint it. And then here it is. If it's from a leak from water, from rain, you're just wasting your money. So you got to investigate to see where that leak is coming from. We'll come into the other bedroom. So we'll look around. As you can see, I mean, this bedroom doesn't have bad walls. I mean, there's a few patches that need to be done. At one time, this was a beautiful house.
The original doors.
It still has all original doors. Someone had a dog. I mean, you can see all the scratches, and trying to refix that door takes quite a few hours to sand them down and polish them out and get them cleaned up. But you'll have to look at the price, because it might be worth doing that in your area. These windows have been replaced. They're vinyl windows. So you make sure that they open and close. Okay, we're walking into the bathroom now. We'll look at the bathroom. You can look at the floor. When you initially look at it, the floor doesn't look bad, but those are these cheap stick-on tiles. And if you get all the way over, the farther you get over to this toilet, the more gap starts showing up between the tiles. So we'll go ahead and use luxury vinyl planking in here that we use, because we can just lay right on top of this and go really quick. Bathroom doesn't look really bad, just basically looks like, I mean, we'll be able to use all the new everything that's here, all the tile and everything that's already on the walls for the surround. So we'll just be able to paint up to it and clean it. Vanities and all that stuff. You check the doors if they need to be fixed. This vanity all here looks like all we'll have to do is go ahead and fix some doors and the hinges. And as you can see, they haven't cleaned the house up completely the way we like it, so they'll come back in and finish it up. Has a little bit of a different little bathroom nook, but that's how what it is it's above the or below the stairs there. So now we'll go ahead and kind of work our way upstairs. We'll look at the stairs. These stairs, the way they painted around them. We'll go ahead and carpet the stairs. And that takes, I mean, anybody that does stairs will know that it'll take a little while. So we'll spend probably a day just carpeting the stairs. So we come up here, this is kind of an open, one bedroom, open living, I guess it'd be a master bedroom. As you can see, I mean, it's really odd how they put the toilet in a weird spot like that. I mean, it's all open, but I mean, you have options of building a wall here, and framing it in so the toilet's separate and all that. So it depends on what your comps are, but it's kind of different. Downstairs where we saw that bubble, this is where it came from. Lines are broke and not all hooked up, so someone turned the water on or the drain, but this is where that bubble is down below. So we'll be able to capture it, fix this, all the plumbing, and fix the bubble. You can see the bathtub surround behind you is different. It kind of sets back in. I mean, every house is different. It's amazing what you'll come across when you guys are doing this type of work. But on these older homes, people will remodel different ways. They just have little eaves on these how older houses have, the way the ceilings are and the walls come down and drop down. They always do little crickets out into these, so you have little storage compartments all the way around. In this room, we'll probably, from this hall this way, probably do luxury vinyl plank behind you all the way over through the bathroom. And then we'll carpet the rest of it. So we'll just measure out the square footage of carpet and luxury vinyl plank. There is some sheetrock damage, so we'll have to patch. And this is sheetrock, so it isn't plaster and lath here, but that's not too bad of a fix. And then there's holes. Once again, we have holes throughout. As you can see, no window. This is a little cubby hole that goes into probably a little storage area. It's a great little kids play area. What else we're doing right now is Carl's counting how many lights throughout. So he's keeping a tally of, so that way we know how many lights. You get those at your local supply house, Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, whatever you guys deal with. So we do a count on lights, so we'll go ahead and replace the lights. We're doing a count on fixtures, so we'll know vanities, how many vanities we have, and then toilets. So we'll do a count on toilets. So right now he's writing down, when we're talking, how many toilets there are, and buy them in bulk. So you can see a spreadsheet.
We've already gone through, but I'll show you the tally at the end, don't worry.
So this is the upstairs. Like you say, you can see all the fire smoke damage, not fire damage, but smoke that they must have not had their flue open or something. We're back in the kitchen. Now we're gonna go work our way carport to downstairs. So that way you guys can kind of see everything. And then once we get all the inner stuff done, we'll kind of do an initial walk around the outside of the house. But we're gonna cover the inside first. So we're coming down here. I mean, you can tell, I mean, they've added on to this kind of a few times just by the addition. This at one time was the outside of the house. And it looks like they've added a carport onto this house. And a garage. It's amazing what people do back then, but it does have multiple doors, so this is considered a garage.
It worked.
And it works.
Good.
I'll need a picture of that. Kind of a bunch of little different add-ons, as you can see how this was at the back of the house at one time, and then they added on to it. And added on this other little pull-in porch here. So we'll kind of clean it up, paint it, but we'll pretty much leave it the way it is. So right now we'll go ahead and work our way downstairs. As we're coming downstairs, I mean, the first thing we're looking at is you always want to look at is your utility box where the power's coming in, your breaker box, to see the condition of it, age of it, work. As you can see on this one, someone cut all the wires. So in this area, we're required to have a safety inspection if power's been off longer than a year. So, and it has, so that means that the city will come in and with their inspector and inspect it. As you can see here, this will never pass. So we'll go ahead and get it all rewired back up again. The panel looks good. I mean, it all has the new GFIs and FGFIs, so that way we're good. We're also looking at, I mean, all the wiring throughout. You can kind of see how they've cut it. So what we'll do is the electrician will sound it out and bring it back to the breaker panel here. And like I say, you can see over here another spot. A lot of these aren't really, I mean, they're time consuming. They already have boxes throughout here, so a lot of these wires we could chase back to another box, and all they'll have to do is bring new wire over to this. And as you can see, I mean, it has fairly new wire. I mean, with the yellow Romex and all that stuff and the orange, so it hasn't been done too many years ago. We have PEX throughout, so I mean, they've plumbed it. It's just, it needs to be re-supported. Gas water heater. Depending on the year and all that, first thing we try to do is we will try to get it working. If we can save $500-600 and replace the water heater, that's one thing you'll learn if you come to our classes, is we'll kind of run you through this and show you guys on what to look for in depth. And we'll teach you what the inspectors look for. We'll teach you what else is an R35. So we'll sell the house and we might have to come back and replace it if the inspector says that it's too old or it isn't working correctly. And then we correct it at that time. Otherwise, we might not have to do anything, and we've just saved $500 or $600. We're looking at the furnace. I mean, it's an older Lennox. Someone has updated it with all this flex deck because everybody knows that this hasn't been around too many years. So with the strapping, so this has been done probably in the last 8 to 10 years. Been all redone by the way the registers are and all that. So we'll go ahead and clean up the furnace, see if we can get it going. If we can't, then we'll have our HVAC people come in, usually about $2,000 to $3,000. We'll have a new furnace put in. This is a big basement down here. Just walking through here, I mean, you can look at, I mean, we're just looking at the piping. I mean, one thing else is you have to look at is some of these older houses, this is a paste, but it's not asbestos. And that's what else is. If it's asbestos, the best thing to do, don't touch it. But you can paint it, but if you guys disturb it, then you're gonna have to bring in a full, I guess it would be a asbestos abatement crew, and that gets very expensive. So if you don't have to, and you can just paint it, and what that's called is encapsulation, and you're allowed to do that. So we'll probably bring you back in here once we do this house. That way you can kind of see. We like coming in here and spraying everything all one color because it does two things. It seals everything, plus it makes everything look uniform, and it hides anything, not really hides, but it just, it does, I mean, I guess hides or covers up or makes it look better, makes everything a lot cleaner, I should say. Got a little built on a little, almost looks like a stadium. Don't step in that hole now. He's gonna laugh because if you guys watch our videos, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Kind of a cold room, it looks like. It'd be great for food storage and everything. That, or you can put a TV up on one end and you got your own seats, stadium seats here. Like I say, we're just walking through, looking at electrical, looking at all the insulation, looking at the duct work. All the duct work is intact, so. It's amazing what they're doing. This is for the furnace. I haven't seen this for a long time. They're bringing fresh air in for the fireplace. Never saw that the first time we walked through this house. And it's amazing. That's why, once again, I can't emphasize the best thing to do is trash it out before you want to do your scope of work. Because if you don't, you overlook everything on the floors and you get drawn to the stuff that's in the house and you're not really looking at the structure of the house. So, water meter. So this is where the city's water comes into the house. You can see it's all galvanized. The meter has been replaced by just the color of it not too many years ago. Okay, coming around, this is something that's kind of different. This one does have a bathroom downstairs, so that's a plus. You can look at the fixtures though, they're going to have to be replaced. They're all broken off. So this is where the toilet was, the sink. So basically this makes this house, what, a 3-on-4?
It's
3-on-3?
yeah, three and three if you count the upstairs. Yeah.
Yep, a 3 and 3. So when you're doing your comps, that helps with the value. You can look at the plastic. I mean, it's been replaced. I mean, everybody knows that this ABS hasn't been around forever. So most of it used to be the old cast iron pipe. So someone has come in here and redid all the plumbing. Kind of different slopes on it, but it is all intact. slopes on pipe. I mean, we're going to have to go ahead and re-support. Everything isn't correctly on the correct slopes, but part of our scope of work is the correct all the plumbing issues throughout, electrical throughout. We've covered, like I say, the panel is the biggest issue. That's usually, I mean, and I can't emphasize enough when you come into these houses to bring our crew in here. You're gonna you want electricity on, you want water on, you want gas on. So you want to get your utilities on and fixed as soon as you can, because it's really hard to come into a house when you have to run generators. During the winter, you're trying to heat the house and everything else for painting. So it's always better to have all your utilities on. So that's why one of the first things you want to do is verify all your utilities and all your fixtures. We'll go ahead and go upstairs now, and then we'll kind of go down through our spreadsheet, since Carl's been kind of following us around, taking notes and taking numbers. So let's go upstairs where there's a little more light. Right now what we'll do is, since we've gone through the whole house, now we're on the outside of the house. We'll go ahead and look at the condition of the house. The outside isn't really bad, but as you can see, I mean, when the city comes in, they board up everything and do not occupy. Doesn't mean that you won't find somebody in your house the next day, but we'll go ahead and walk down. Right now we're just walking down the side of the house. You can see all the little additions that have been done to the house. I mean, it's amazing how they add on and add on and add on, but here we are at the original house right here. So you can see the power. I mean, this is a fairly new power. I mean, you can look at that and look at the condition and all that stuff. I mean, here you can't see the sticker, but I mean, it's hasn't been done that many years. You can just tell by the plastic and the condition of the hangers and brackets that it hasn't been that long. So we have a little bit of, I mean, touch-up paint right along here, and some touch-up paint around the windows, a few of the windows, but really the condition of the house is really in great shape of this outside. We're looking at it, these from the inside, these are the vinyl windows, so you can look at them. We can go back one window this way and look at, this is the old window here, the original window of the house. Beautiful, beautiful old windows. But looking at the records of this, and that's what else you want to do, is if you attend Lee's classes, you'll learn the year this house was built. You'll go back and be able to look at the history of everything. And this one was remodeled probably about, they say, about 8 years ago. So that gives you kind of a history behind it. But then you look at all the damage that's been done in the 8 years. I mean, it's amazing what people do without electricity and everything else, or their lifestyles. Okay, we're working our way around the house. Right now we're going to work. You can see that the lattice has been broke, so we'll go ahead and fix the lattice. We'll fix the steps there where the hole, regrout that in there, because that'll never pass inspection. Coming back around, gas meters up here, so look at that. And it's kind of different. The gas isn't even shut off, so the gas is still on to this house. So one thing we don't have to do. Okay, we're going to come up here and look at the porch. So you see that they've added on the metal roof onto this part of it. The porch, as in when we were on the inside, if you remember, that was a sliding glass door, and then this was the one bedroom. So we'll have Carl come up here. We'll kind of go through the spreadsheet. As we're walking around, one thing I do want to mention is we're looking at the roof. As you can look, you can tell it's a composite roof that it's been done not too many years ago. I mean, I'd say when they did the remodel, probably 8, 9 years ago, they put a whole new roof on there. So we did walk all the way around. You look at the condition of the roof, look at the fireplace. You're looking at the mast coming up. It's making sure that everything is good going to the power pole. And so you kind of do the outside visual look too. We looked at all the windows, everything on the outside. The final thing is you kind of look at the roof. We looked at the roof from the other side. So that's it. Now we'll go inside and we'll kind of go over our spreadsheet. Right now, what we're doing is we captured all the information Carl did. So now we have a spreadsheet. So if you attend our classes and all that, Master Rehab class, you would learn how to do this spreadsheet in the class. We'll run you through it and give you the information along with the spreadsheet. So right now, Carl, go ahead. Why don't you just pop off the numbers?
So I like to go through it in order. The reason I have it in order is so that I don't miss anything, because it's really easy to only notice the big stuff. So we've already got the trash out done. I'm not going to worry about that. If we're coming in line by line, no demo is going to be needed. There's no framing that we're going to add, but we're going to probably need to do some plumbing. This is an old house, and we like to build that in when you're going and plumbing in the new fixtures. So that's just going to be an as needed. It usually costs us about $500 and it takes our guys about 5 hours. So we'll do that. The HVAC, you know, if either it'll work or it won't. And if it doesn't work, we'll bring our HVAC guys in and they'll tell us what it is, between $2 and $3 grand, and that's fine. Coming down to the electrical, remember we saw that was cut out. So what we need to do is get in and looking at it, it's probably going to take a guy about 2 days to get it plugged back in. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of junction boxes and there's going to be other things that pop up. So about 30 hours to get all the electrical in the house up and running. The windows and sliders, if you remember upstairs, there was that one window missing. That's the only window on the whole property that we think needs to be fixed. So we'll end up replacing that guy. And that shouldn't take any guy more than about half an hour. And then we're going to come in on the patch and the drywall. This one's not bad. Some of the houses are smashed up and beat up. And this one, you get the one hole there, the one hole there. It's not that bad. Our guys will come in with the hot mud and they'll get that drywall cleaned up in less than half a day. Going through, when we do our paint, what we do is we count the number of rooms and we've got it dialed in based on the severity of it. The concern on this one is the smoke staining, and if we can get that remedied, it's going to be a lot easier for us to get it painted. But because of the smell, we're going to need to do a heavy layer of Kills underneath our paint.
What is Kills?
Kills is the odor eliminating, stain preventing, oil-based paint, and it is fantastic. But knowing that we're going to have at least one layer of that, and then our finish coat on top, and then knowing that we're going to be cutting in the two-tone, it just adds a few other things. And as big as this house is, it's probably going to be about a day and a half to get anybody to spray it. So we should be able to get all that knocked out in about a team of 3 people should be able to get it knocked out in a week. And then coming into the flooring, we did go ahead and pull numbers on all the rooms, but we know our flooring costs dialed in pretty well. So, we're looking at, there's nothing crazy on this one. We're not trying to level the floors out. We're not trying to patch big holes. We're going to be able to roll our carpet over the top. We're going to be able to do the LVP real clean, real easy, and it should be good. So knowing that, it's going to take our couple of flooring guys a week to get all that buttoned up. And we went through and did a count on the doors. There was the 3 exterior doors, the front door, the back door, and the door to the basement. And then at our price point here, it's going to make more sense for us to replace the interior doors as opposed to trying to repair them. So knowing that, we need, 5 interior doors, 3 exterior doors. So give a guy a day and a half to get them all plugged in. We don't have any issues with the closets. We're not doing any tile. We're going to go ahead and add hardware to all the cabinets. They're pretty good shape, but we're going to need to spruce them up just a little bit. But that won't take too long. And then in the bathrooms, we've got the vanity upstairs, the vanity downstairs, the toilet upstairs, the toilet downstairs, and we need the shower valves on all 3 of them probably to get replaced. So knowing that, knowing how long it takes each of our guys, because we got each of those dialed into a specific price and a specific hour requirement to get it done. So knowing that, I mean, we should be able to get those bathrooms, all 3 of them, up and running in about a day and a half. Coming through, we did a count on the lights, and then we get them in bulk. So I think there was 14 lights in here, and that'll go. Won't take too long. Coming through, we talked about it. You know how we do our countertops. Took our measurements. We know what it's going to take for us to get that done, get the sink dropped in it. And then we know that just because of the size of the countertop, it's probably going to take us a day to get it all the way done. We got a 3-spot on appliances, and it takes our guys a couple hours to plug them all the way in. And then there's a few miscellaneous finish items. This is where I capture everything else. What did I miss? On this one, it's the fireplace. So we priced out an electric insert and took a look at what it's going to take for our guys to get it cleaned up, and we'll make sure that that happens. Some of the other things that I like to think about are what did I miss? What did I not see? We'd had the plumbing leak, and it was a good thing that we found out it was a plumbing leak and not a roofing leak. That's always a sigh of relief. And then down in the basement, another thing that was missing was the panel cover. That was nowhere. Oh, actually, it's right behind you. Good. Right, because those can be hard to find replacements for. I only saw one basement down in the, or one window down in the basement, and that was a little bit concerning. What are some of the other things that we don't have here that we might normally have?
We've pretty well, every house, you catch the same thing, and every house has its own little quirks here and there, so it has different things. So this one, the big thing is keeping this one with the trim and all that. What we'll do is we'll give them the prices, and then we go back to our bosses and our finance people, and then they basically will tell us, hey, we want this two-toned, we want it all one color. We let them decide, because they have all the numbers and they know what's best with the numbers and what the comps are in this area and what can be spent wisely. Because you always want to remember, you want to get into the house as cheap as you can and as fast as you can. If you don't, then you can put more into this house than what you'll get out of it. So you got to watch your comps, the neighborhood, the house, what you got to do to the house. So really look at the broad theme of everything. And my favorite saying is, remember, you're not doing this house for yourself. You're doing this house to get in and get out and make money. And that is what we teach. Okay, we crunched some numbers now on our SOW. Basically, the reno is going to be about $30,000. We'll probably put it on the market for $220,000, $225,000. So that'll kind of give you an idea. I want to thank you for watching. Like and subscribe below. And for this or any other future training, go to fundingtour.com/YouTube. And thank you for watching again.